All right, so the oil change, other than putting the oil in the car, and the transmission, other than putting oil in the transmission, is all set. So now we're going to move to the back of the car and see what it's going to take to get this L&M kit installed with these new shocks and go from there. I'm excited. The rear end of this car is getting kind of sloppy. It's got 170,000 miles on the stock suspension, so other than lowering front coils, it's really all that's different. It still has stock lower control arms, stock bushings, stock struts in the front. So eventually we'll probably get to changing those out too. Especially if I like how this feels. Probably go back to L&M and try to get some more aftermarket stuff for the front end of this car. I'm excited. Working on the Mustang. Hey James,
What?
what are you doing over here? That's not a coloring board.
But it's our discount code from
For what?
Boxo USA. Go check it out. That dude's 10.
Link in the description. Okay, so let me grab a light so we can see what we're doing. But in the back of the car here, you'll see kind of in a general area what we're working on. Boop, light. Okay. So everything I got in the box over there from L&M is replacements for these here on both sides. And then up in here, which probably can't see it on the camera. Uppers, lowers, and then the rear shocks here. I don't know exactly what it's going to take. I know you got to take the rear sway bar off because the rear sway bar connects to the new lowers. I'm assuming with factory hardware. We'll figure that out. And then the shocks use all factory hardware along with it. See how this goes. Probably would be easier if I had a second support structure, but we'll do one side at a time, see how it goes. All right, so I got pretty much everything broken loose. There's one bolt on the sway bar over here that I need to move the ABS sensor to get to. I'm going to lower the car down and take the rear wheels off, take some weight off of it, and then we'll put it back up in the air. Bless me. Sneezes. All right, so I'm going to break the lug nuts loose. While the car's on the ground, I'll probably throw the oil back in it so that way I don't forget that. And then pop the trunk and see what it's going to take to get the top of the shocks off too. All right, let's go in the front here. Put some oil in the car. Today we're going the Valvoline VR1 because I've been hearing a lot of good things about this. It's formulated for classic cars and race cars, so maybe this will turn this into a race car. I've been putting Valvoline in a lot of the cars I've been doing oil changes on, just because I'm really trusting in the technologies they've put into it. Been hearing a lot of good things about it. This is not a pay plug, but if they want to pay me, they can. Definitely won't turn it down. All right, oil is in. All right, let's dig into this trunk and see what it's going to take to get to those shocks. Like my Iron Maiden mini cooler. Rock on. All right, we're starting on the passenger side, so we'll dig in over here first. Oh, looks like I need a flat tip screwdriver. And panel popping tools. First we'll remove the trunk latch center, and then we'll get into the side panels here. I'll put you on time lapse so we can get this dealt with. Okay, the interior side panels of the trunk are out. You can see down here is the top nut for the strut, shock rather. Looks like it's a 19. Probably because why wouldn't it be? All right, let me get back with you guys once I get that out. All right, the car is back up in the air. I got the tires off. The top of the shocks are undone. I'm going to focus on getting the sway bar out and then working on control arms one side each. All right, the sway bar is removed. It was two 13mm bolts on either side. One of them holds the emergency brake cable up. There's an 8mm screw that holds the bracket for the ABS line. You can either remove the line off the bracket, put the bracket away. I did that on this side. On that side, I just left the sensor with the bracket and removed the screw out of the bracket. So now we'll move on to getting this lower out. All right, now that I got the one lower control arm out, we're going to assemble its replacement. Start off by lubricating everything, then putting the three pieces together and then into the control rod. Okay, so I got the bushings installed in the first one. Put the forward of the car in first, coil spring on, and then push it up into the axle, get everything lined up down here. Sway bar bracket goes on the outside. I don't think this... Okay, lower control arm is in. That was a fight. Getting ready to do the next side. All right, so I got the shock temporarily thrown up in there. Control arm is in. I'm gonna get this one apart, and then I'm probably gonna do this side a little bit differently, I think. I'm gonna try to see if I can't get the lower control arm in, hooked up on both sides, and then just put the spring in with a compressor instead of trying to compress the whole thing up in and then lining this back up. It was kind of a pain the last time, so see how this goes. All right, both lower control arms are in, loose. They say to try to avoid tightening everything when it's hanging, that you want to put it down on the ground first and then tighten everything. So I'm going to lower it down, put the tires back on it, get everything lined up top for the shocks, and then we'll probably try to tighten it. Okay, welcome to day 2. I put the control arms in yesterday and I put them in on the wrong side because there isn't any directions in the box on how to do it. So when you're installing the L&M fixed lower control arms, make sure the brackets for the sway bar are on the outside of the rod. Today we're going to try to do the uppers. Shocks are in, lowers are in. We're going to try to get the uppers done. And then we still need to service the transmission, so we'll get to that. I got the little pumper I needed. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. I am going to have to order some new spring isolators because I have a feeling that these coil springs are going to squeak because the ones that were on the original lowers are junk, so I wasn't able to reuse them. And the upper ones aren't in really much better shape, so we'll have to see how that goes. I don't think it'll be too hard to replace. Compress the springs down, throw the stuff in there. We'll get to it. After the first drive, I'll probably realize that I need it. All right, let's get to it. Okay, so the driver's side upper is out. I got this one assembled off camera, same as the lowers. Lots of grease to try to keep air out of the bushing. Outside bushing ball, inside bushing, and then pass the sleeve through it. I'm going to throw a little bit of anti-seize on the shanks. And hopefully this one goes in as easy as that one just came out. Let's put that there, I guess. Oh, nope, that's not gonna. Just too short. These bushings are very tight. Oh. Come on, get in there. Okay, that's pretty close. Oy. Definitely a lot tighter than the stock one. I'd say you could hammer it, but it ain't gonna do any good. Just because of how tight it is. Just kind of force it in there. Come on. Come on with it. Well, that one's about lined up, so I'm hoping that the inner one is too. Grab my bolt. It doesn't look like it's anywhere near it, of course. Can't see. Oh, looks like it needs to go up. Okay. How do I get you to go up? Gotta get a flashlight. I can't see anything. Can't see what's going up in there. What do you want? I gotta grab a shorter punch. I always end up with a table full of tools. This side needs to come way down by the looks of it. Maybe. Yep, reach. Come on. punch myself in the face. Come on, bushing, what do you want? There it is. Talk to me, help me understand. I think that's about it. A little bit of persuasion. Let me get my persuader up in there. There it is. Hey. Yeah, because I got anti-seize on that bolt head. I'm just gonna stick the ratchet on it, turn it a couple times, spread that stuff out, and then we'll get the lower bolt installed. Anti-seize. Now it is suggested to replace the bushings on the ears of the axle. Mine are pretty tight, so I'm not going to worry about it right now. But that's a lower, upper rather, control arm installed. Now I'll put you in time lapse and I'll get the other side in. Okay, that is both upper control arms, lower control arms installed. Shocks are installed. Now it's time to service the transmission. Which is going to be a fun time on its own. So the transmission says it takes 3.3 quarts. I think I got 4, so this is a lot like a transfer case on a truck. It's got a lower point, higher point, fill in the higher point until it comes out of the hole, plug it, done. Here we go. All right, so the car's back on the ground. Transmission serviced, oil changed, upper control arms, lower control arms, rear shocks, some PVC hoses under the hood, which were an easy fix, so I didn't show them on camera. Let's take this thing for a ride, see how it feels, and hopefully it feels pretty good. There wasn't really much wrong with the suspension before. It did kind of like squirrel a little bit. He hit a bump the right way. But suspension in the back of this was 15 years old, so swapped it out for the L&M new stuff, KYB shocks. So it should feel pretty tight, kind of like race car stuff. Yeah, let's go see how it sounds, feels on the road. Yeah, so it seems to be shifting a lot smoother. Suspension feels tighter. Adjusting my microphone because my seatbelt is hitting it. Let's take it for a ride on the main road, see how it feels. Shifting, it definitely feels better. Feels like it's actually hitting with all the power instead of torquing in the axle. Shocks feel pretty good too, right at the base middle setting. that feels much truer. There's definitely more things I got to do to this car. Gas panel vibrates. Missing a couple of interior pieces, but transmission feels great. Definitely like that new fluid. All right, so that'll about do it for this episode. Everything in the car feels great. It sticks to the road much better. So everything we did so far feels great. Definitely an improvement. You'll see more on this car because obviously it's like my pride and joy right now. And hopefully you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Keep those wrenches turning.